it came down Friday. He's like, it's. I said, when is it gotta be done? He said, by next Friday before the home opener.
The Ohio Painting Company podcast back again as we head into the early parts of September. We got Kevin Silliman at the house. We got Nick Goebel at the OPC house. Good to see you, fellas. How are you?
Hey yo,
Good.
Good deal. I wanted to start today because of what I saw on the company account of Slack. You guys share pictures, you guys share updates, and hey, this is what we need here. You need to go over here and do XYZ. And it's just a cool place for you guys to, hang out, let everybody know what's going on. There's a whole category of just Kevin's face that people snap. I don't know if you were aware of that or not.
No, I don't
no,
even.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of it.
Okay. Well,
They smacked me?
no, there's just pictures of your face without you knowing they're taking the picture. So happy birthday.
That's its own channel.
Yeah.
I must not be invited to that channel either. What the heck?
It's
It's probably Corey.
it's buried in there. You can find it. They might have deleted some of the
Pretty fun.
pictures out of it, but I like when it gets updated. But what I saw on there was this interesting project where you guys have to do a little bit of artwork or do some restoration to existing artwork at a football field. And I've seen a couple of these things, maybe with a wrestling team a while back. But this one, I mean, there's several more colors in it. You guys are representing a high school, more than likely with a large parental fan base, things like that. I know how families get with high school teams. It's a pretty tight-knit family, and they can get pretty aggressive, and they like to look good too. So they
Yeah.
called you guys out for this project. What does it entail, and what did you notice when you first got there?
Well, that is yeah, we are not we've got the ability to do murals within the company, not any of those like stuff you would see at Disney World or anything like that, but um they're simple in approach, but they can be less complicated. Here's the thing is if the request is that it needs to look exactly as the original, that is extremely tricky. And I will tell you, actually, Centerville is where I have lived since 2009. So, um, Kevin's been basically in Franklin for the past, let's call it 20 some odd years. I've been in Springboro since 92. A lot of our business grew organically from Springboro and Franklin and then outwards. And somehow, as we have continued to grow up 75, down 71, it's always been there's select neighborhoods that we work in Centerville, but they have the opportunity to be community centric and really apparent on the platform of Centerville, and the city of Centerville has been rather elusive, and that's not for lack of trying, but again, it's who you know, how you know, and a lot of times it's just kind of how things roll in. So yeah, that job came in as a blindside at the end of the day on a Friday, literally the week before it started, and we're contacted by the installer of the big marquee scoreboard for the high school, and he's still tied in to all the inner work over there at Centerville High School, and he's like, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm like, "Well, it is it's outside of the norm, but we definitely can." And basically just phone calls back and forth. He plugged me in with them, and we landed on the numbers, and our team in here, Andrea and Ramon. It's a combination of detail team and production team. But yeah, it came down Friday. He's like, I said, when is it got to be done? He said, by next Friday before the home opener. And we're hosting Saint X, and if you're local to Cincinnati, Dayton, Saint X is where Kirk Herbstreit has moved, and his son is the star quarterback. So you had all the Saint X family coming up from Cincinnati, and yeah, so no pressure. Um, but no, it was complicated. It was fun. It was fun to see it come together, and our team just performed so well on it, and then the accolades and the shout outs that came along with it too were extra cool, and never would have I thought that's how our foot and would slide into the door of Centerville, because there's a lot of opportunity in Centerville and a things that we can do to help the community. But that was definitely a cool one.
I am so glad that I never had anybody in my family that was like some star athlete that I had to live up to. I mean, do you guys feel the same? Because, I mean, like, you think about that, you think about Tiger Woods' son, LeBron James' kids. I mean, they got a lot to do to follow footsteps. And, it's almost like if you don't, you're like, whoa, how are you raising your kids? How come they're not, in your literal footsteps all the way from high school to where you are now? I'm just that pressure. I will never want it. I'll do what I do and be just fine with it.
Yeah,
Your dad builds some seriously cool looking golf courses, though, dude.
I know, but
That's
talk about
that's
being terrified of bulldozers and heavy equipment that can kill you in a moment's notice. And I know pretty much anything can, but I I didn't really grow up around it either, because he was always so far away. When I was a little kid, Dayton was just a flight with 10 layovers away. And
right.
I've made the trip to come see you guys countless times. But I mean, he's been to Puerto Rico. He's in northern Michigan right now. He's been in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and, just places that are
Right.
way, way far away. Even down in Florida on the Gulf Coast putting these golf courses together. So I've never really been a part of it because I couldn't have been. If I was ingrained in what my father did and got to see him do it, and he was like, "Hey, let's move this dirt over here. I want you to help me out." It'd been a different story, but he was always just hours and hours away.
Yeah. No, that would be cool. I mean, I know like Parker on the what's the Gold Channel there, Nick?
it's just Gold Rush.
Gold Rush. Parker like grew up, 10, 12 years old riding on tractors, and man,
behind his
what a big difference now.
behind his grandpa. His dad was a
Hmm.
structural and a municipal engineer, so he was in the bridge building and road building and everything else. So
Who
yeah,
are we
he
talking about here again?
Yeah.
Who is this?
talking about Parker from Gold Rush, Parker Schnabel or something like that. Is that his last name, Kevin?
Parker,
I'm fine with
I
Schnabel.
got
Just go ahead and
Schnabel.
just yeah,
Schnabel. Yeah,
Google it,
that's it.
Oh, okay.
Google it, and do a little AI name drop in of his last name.
All right, I'll do what I can to
I
give
don't I
him.
don't think that's how I don't think that's how it works, is it?
No, it's not. Who is this? Give me all their information. It doesn't work like that. Thank goodness.
That's a heck of a topic though, and a rabbit trail you started going down. You think about upbringing and your rebellious and revolting years and everything else, and then your dad's Michael Jordan or Kirk Herbstreit, and it's like, yeah, how do you fill those shoes, and
Uh,
how do you manage to do that and still like explore the world on your own and look at the Manning family.
Good
They're just
grief, yeah.
just dynasty after like you can't even call them multi dynasty. They're a multi generational dynasty, but they've just been at it for like 40 years. And I don't know. There's got to be some type of technology from Rocky Four that they use within their family to keep them all on the same page.
AI was a topic that we were thinking about talking about maybe next week and how we implement it into our businesses because we've been, using it a little bit more here in the studio, we being me. But it is just so vast, the stuff that you can do, and it's used wrong by millions of people. They do not understand how far you can take artificial intelligence with what we have at our fingertips for $20 a month. And so we're going to talk about that later. I don't want to dive too deep into it. But another thing, you were talking about the rebellious side, getting down rabbit holes, and something that I've been hooked on for the last couple of days is this Chase Bank thing. Have you been up to date on this thing?
No,
Nope.
All right, so you have people that believe that
Hold on.
this.
Nick is with Chase Bank. Is that right, Nick?
personally, yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny
So that's
because
why I was like, oh boy, because you
Okay.
went,
and
oh.
yeah, I just finished a doc. I just finished a documentary about Wyatt Earp and J.P. Morgan is which is now J.P. Morgan Chase, but like he was tied into the politics of the OK Corral and all the vendetta fallout and everything else. So I'm really curious to hear more, Brett.
Yeah, so I mean, I really wanted to spring at the opportunity to produce this documentary because it's so fresh. And I'm just like, okay, a few emails. I'm going to get the CEO of this son of a bitch on the phone and I'm going to start interviewing him and we're going to go and meet up and film it. I'm going to have the coolest thing on Tubi that anybody's ever seen. But so essentially, broke people, are taking their checkbooks and they're writing checks to themselves for upwards of $40,000. And then they go and deposit those checks into the ATM because the ATM doesn't have the ability to know if that check will bounce. And the way Chase works is they will give you a portion of that money regardless of if you have it. So you're taking a check that you have with your name, your account number on it, writing it out to yourself for $40,000, putting it into an ATM, and then withdrawing the funds that they allow you to have during the waiting period to make sure the check clears. When they wake up the next morning, they're in the red $50,000. And this has happened to tons and tons of people that are calling this the Chase Bank glitch when it's actually just check fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're gonna make it a good thing though, so everybody should be able to do it, you know.
Uh, I mean, people, I mean, I've
And waive the fees.
seen videos of folks just lined up outside of Chase Bank getting ready to go in. And I mean, if you guys are on TikTok, log in, type in Chase Bank glitch, and just, I mean, start heating up the popcorn. I've been so glued on this thing about how much these people screwed up their lives because they're young people, right? They think that they're trying to get one over on the biggest bank in the entire world, and they're waking up to these accounts that are so far in the hole, 40, 30, 40, $50,000 in the red. It's just
Yeah.
completely life destroying stuff that these guys just did. And I mean, felonious, 20 years in prison, some of these folks are facing. And yeah, I feel bad for them, but it's it's like the oldest trick in the book. That's what I've seen from a lot of other people that have worked in banks say that they've seen it since the start of banking. It's been the biggest thing, check hopping, writing bad checks. It's the oldest trick in the book that people
The check's in the mail.
it's coming in. Don't
Where they don't
redeposit the
really
money
write the
that you
check.
put out. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just terrible. I'm at a loss for words about how bad some of these people just screwed their lives up. But anyway,
That's I mean, just how short sighted are we? To think to live on 24 hours of glory and destroy the next 10 years of your life
yeah,
potentially. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Hmm.
it could be bad. It could be real bad, folks. To
Well, well, well.
try to get the train back on the tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and talk more about these kind of
Oddball jobs.
oddball jobs that you guys have done. When that mural at the football field was initially put up, is that one of those things that people do with like a projector and it shines the image up on there and they paint around it? I mean, I know that's what they did with some of those things in Marietta, say inside the brewery, to make sure everything is exactly perfect and it fits. How does that stuff go up
Well,
initially?
that works well inside, not necessarily outside, and not when it's sun shiny with zero clouds and it's 100 plus degrees outside. Um, that one, luckily, I mean, we scraped a lot of it away, but we were able to take a lot of pictures of each letter, and for the areas of the letter that were missing, which is quite a bit, kind of connect the dots and kind of revisualize it. But no, a lot of guys. I mean, there's a guy down here in Franklin that and Kevin knows him personally. I've met him a few times, but his name's Eric Ken, and he does these big murals on the sides of water towers, and they're pretty darn intricate by the time he gets done with them. And how he started out on that, his whole career was his buddy had a picture that he wanted blown up onto a T-shirt. So he created a grid pattern, cut it up into grids, and basically took those little sections of grids from the picture and blew them up and kind of freehanded them in the corresponding grid on the T-shirt, and then realized he could do that on much larger things. And so that's where he started that. Now he's like, probably the number one muralist hired by Marathon, the Marathon conglomerate and all their affiliates for all their petroleum based water towers that overlook their facilities and everything. So um, you never know when those kind of jobs are what they're gonna add up to.
I'd say it's a lot of stuff is taken for granted. You roll down the interstate, you're 12 hours into a trip and you look up and you see one of those big crazy murals on top of a water tower. You don't take it into consideration that somebody was up there doing that.
Yeah.
Well, he was doing one year I was driving up to a bachelor party in Canada. I'm driving along 75 and I wasn't actually painting it. I was selling paint for Sherwin-Williams, and Eric Hen was a customer of ours. So I got done making probably 112 gallons. That number just sticks out to me, and of different paints, and maybe they were all on 4 group sets. So like you'd only have 4 gallons of one color, 4 gallons of the other. And I remember selling it to him. I'm driving up 75, and I'm in what's that, Flag City, USA. It's Finley, right? Driving through Finley, and I see a guy just hanging from the water tower up there from the ropes, and I'm like, it's Marathon. I'm like, that's Eric right there. Oh my gosh! So I was so excited for him to get back, and so I could tell him about it. I think by that point, I was already out of that store. Like Eric, he comes in, he checks in, he does a job, and then he doesn't show back up for like 4 or 5 months. So I never got to talk to him about that again.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool stuff. The situation of getting down and realizing you missed something up there would suck. Say, oh man, I forgot to fill out this square on the grid up there at the very top of this water
Yeah.
tower.
Look at that big empty
all,
spot.
all the way back up.
Good stuff. Any other odd jobs that you guys have done in the past? I mean, like I said, I've seen the wrestling mural inside. I think it may have been a locker room or the actual facility of the like a gymnasium or something like that. So that's one of, I would say, many that you guys have been a part of. I've seen basements of churches, but you had other people come in to do that, correct?
What's
The
that?
bit,
I think
oh,
it
the
was
bit. Talking
Fairhaven.
about Fairhaven, yeah, that
Oh
was
yeah, that was Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
Wow took care of that. They're a pretty big
World of Wow, was that their name?
World of Wow. But World of Wonder something. They were pretty amazing. Yeah.
Hmm.
You clear coat everything afterwards. We did a big V for the Vols, or maybe we did the whole Vols orange and white in a bedroom for a kid one time. It was kind
Yeah.
of cool, but nothing. Yeah, nothing large scale like Eric and all these people are doing. Yeah, like this that we've done. Again, the girls are out there tearing it up, so they can do it. They
Yeah.
can do it.
There was another one. It was a selfie studio, I think, Nick.
Oh yeah,
And you guys weren't doing artsy stuff in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were just doing some pretty standard painting in there, correct?
There was a lot of ceilings, yeah, and so they had open joist ceilings, and yeah, the tricky part. So those are no job is the same. That particular job, yeah, we're not doing any artsy painting, but they had mannequins and oddball stuff that's just really awkward to work around. And then it all has ceiling above it. So like, you take something that's made out of feathers and it's like a big old bushy type like feather creature, and you got to cover it up and still work around it and paint over top of it and make sure that you don't get any paint on anything. So it's like, it's like the show Dexter. It's like everything's covered in plastic. Your awareness is heightened because it's like if it's covered in plastic, you don't know what it is. You bump into it, you knock it over, you might break it. So yeah, there's so much in that project that was just like high stress because everything was nearly breakable and nothing could really be moved efficiently. So it's just like go in there and do what we can. And yeah, we made it out of there without destroying anything, and that was a relief.
Yeah. It's all cool to see, or too cool rather, to see you guys out there doing your thing, getting mixed up with a lot of different businesses that need paint. Nick, you say it all the time, paint sticks to pretty much everything. So if they need
Yeah.
paint, they can give you a jingle. Other
Yep.
than that, I mean, Kevin, we have talked and we can maybe do an episode about why you don't, but you said the world of automotive paint is just a wildly different situation. It ain't like painting a house.
yeah. There's I mean, just the filtration system alone. I mean, just to get all that to code is nutso.
Hmm.
Um, so, those contaminants, the EPA is all over the VOCs. They're just it's just we don't need to put any more hairspray in in the environment out
I
there in
got
the
you.
ocean.
All right, so it's also a decision because I'm sure you're capable. If you wanted to get everything up to code, you could figure it out and get it done. But it's just a matter of not necessarily wanting to add that in, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it starts with like a $200,000 paint booth.
what do you need a car painted? Is that why you keep asking?
Oh no, no. I've just always been fascinated by it because it's wildly different and it's a whole different animal according to you guys. So
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the metallics are pretty hard, to keep them from running together. And if you get any sags at all, it has to be resanded, I mean, everything. It's pretty challenging.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
mean, it's
Sounds like
definitely
it.
not my forte.
Kevin Silliman, Nick Goebel on the Ohio Painting Company podcast. We got Nick at the shop, Kevin at the house. Thank you, fellas, for jumping back on. And we'll do it again next week. And Lord only knows where we're going to go with it. So we thank you for finding us, listening, watching, wherever you may be. You can give us a review on Spotify and Podbean. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And follow us anywhere you find us on social media. So, fellas, thanks again. And we'll be talking to you here around the corner.
Thanks, Brett.
All right, Brett, tell your mama said hey.
Will do.